Welcome to the College Investor Audio Show, where we talk about the biggest issues impacting millennial money, from student loan debt to side hustles to building wealth. We will show you how to get out of debt so that you can build real wealth for the future.
Okay, so a little bit of an interesting show. We've talked about this a little bit before, but now that Joe Biden has been confirmed president-elect by the Electoral College, what does that mean for your student loans exactly? That's today's topic. Thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate it. All right, so college graduates in the U.S. owe an average of $30,000 in federal student loan debt. Yikes. Although student loan debt payments have been paused during the 2020 pandemic, they will eventually resume. And then for most graduates starting off in life, they're going to start with the weight of debt on their backs. Student loan debt payments are one of the largest items on most family budgets. Thus, a policy to reduce or even cancel that debt could help a lot of families. Joe Biden has made comments about student loan forgiveness. What are they? How do they affect undergraduate students? And how will this loan forgiveness program impact people who choose to go to professional school or graduate school after their bachelor's? Let's take a look at it. First, Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness proposals. To forgive $10,000 per borrower. Joe Biden has said that he does approve of the HEROES Act. Congress passed this bill in May 2020 in response to COVID-19, but it was stalled in the Senate. Under the bill, loan amounts of up to $10,000 would be forgiven for economically distressed individuals for both federal student loan borrowers and private loan borrowers. An economically distressed borrower is defined as any of the following: an individual whose adjusted gross income is 150% below the U.S. poverty line, or, in other words, people who earn less than $25,000 a year, borrowers who had not been able to make loan payments in 90 days or more, borrowers who are in deferment or forbearance due to financial reasons. So according to these definitions, more than 40% of borrowers do fit one of these reasons. In early December, a press conference with Senator Chuck Schumer indicated that President-elect Biden was, quote, considering a policy that would cancel up to $50,000 in student loan debt. Wow. This policy would be in agreement with a Senate resolution introduced by Senators Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer. This is different from the more conservative $10,000 per borrower that Biden does actually seem to support. But for people who owe $10,000 or less in student loans, which is about a third of borrowers, this could mean total cancellation of debt. It is possible that if you earn more than $125,000 a year, you will be excluded from this loan forgiveness program. Sorry, Biden's proposal in PSLF. So we all know about the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. I hope that's supposed to forgive your debt if you provide a qualifying public service for 10 years. That sounds fantastic on paper. But in reality, few people get approved for the program. In late 2019, 1,216 applications for the PSLF had been approved, while a whopping 100,835 apps were denied. That's a 1.2% approval rate. So as it stands, even if you qualify for PSLF, chances are that your application will be denied. Under Biden's program, the proposal is to rework PSLF so that more people who deserve to have their loans forgiven this way will actually get the chance. The Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program currently forgives up to $24,000 for qualifying applicants. Biden's proposals could increase this amount to $50,000 if it's passed. New income-driven repayment plans. Joe Biden has also proposed new income-driven repayment plans. So this would cut monthly payments to less than 5% of discretionary income. Not bad. An implication of this proposal is that borrowers will not have to make any payments on their federal student loans, and interest will not accrue if their income is below $25,000. The remaining debt would then be forgiven after 20 years of payments. Unlike the current income-driven repayment programs, which are taxed, this loan forgiveness program would be tax-free. Restoration of borrower defense to repayment. So there are borrowers who have fallen victim to misrepresentations that were made by colleges about their student loans or maybe even education programs. This is not the fault of the borrower. the current administration changed the rules so that only 4% of borrower defense to repayment cases were approved. Joe Biden has proposed to bring back the rules that help more people who have been swindled by their schools. Student loan bankruptcy laws restored. Joe Biden has also proposed to repeal 11 U.S.C. 523A8. This section of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code provides an exception so that federal and private student loan debt cannot be discharged. Since 1976, in order to have your student loans discharged in a bankruptcy filing, you would have to show that you have extenuating circumstances and that paying off your student loans would cause undue hardship on you and your family. Almost nobody is ever approved for that. This proposal could change that. Now, let's critique some of Biden's loan forgiveness proposals. For a lot of people, student loan debt is a perpetual burden they have to carry for years. Not only do you have to pay the principal of the student loans, you also have to pay the interest that accrues over the years. Canceling even $10,000 of student loan debt will mean financial relief for a lot of American families. Opponents of Biden's proposals have said that providing this kind of sweeping debt cancellation actually undermines the efforts of other people who have worked hard to pay off their student loans. It's a good point. Another criticism is that such a legislation would largely benefit people who are already well off. The thought process here is that most of the time, people who are from well-off or financially stable backgrounds are the ones who are able to get into good universities where graduation rates are already high. This generally means they would also get good jobs that put them in a higher financial bracket than most people in the U.S. So according to data from Census.gov, in 2019, high school was the highest level of education completed by 28.1% of the population. This is for people 25 and older. Only 22.5% had finished 4 years of college. Since people with a bachelor's will, on average, out-earn the average American, opponents fear that this would give an even greater advantage for college-educated people to get ahead financially. This will then create an even wider income and wealth gap. Here's the bottom line. College tuition is not getting any cheaper. Between 1985 and 2017, average college tuition rates went up by 4 times. In the meantime, wages for the average American have only grown about 32% during the same period when you account for inflation. In light of all of this, even a $10,000 student loan relief could do wonders for the pockets of many folks around the country. You can bet that we will keep our eye on all of these different proposals and legislation in the years, months, weeks ahead. So, you can always check in at thecollegeinvestor.com to get the latest. Just search for student loan forgiveness programs or something like that at thecollegeinvestor.com, and you'll find all kinds of cool stuff about it. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I hope it was helpful. Share this with somebody who may have some questions about this too. We just like to help people. That's what we do around here. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again very soon.